You set the gold standard for your business. Your website should do the same. Wix puts you at the helm so you can enjoy the creative freedom of designing your site just the way you want. Want someone to bounce your ideas off? Talk with AI to create a beautiful site together. Whatever your business, manage it from one place and tie it all together with a personalized domain name. Gear up for success with a brand that says you best. You can do it yourself on Wix.
If you work in quality control at a candy factory, you know strict safety regulations come with the job. It's why you partner with Grainger. Grainger helps you find the high quality and compliant products your business needs to inspect, detect, and help correct issues. And the sweetest part is, everyone gets a product that's as safe to eat as it is delicious. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Follow the money.
That's what I always say. You always follow the money.
Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard on VSiN.
Fun hour on tap in 15 minutes. We'll get into tonight's Major League Baseball card. A lot of bets to consider there. Bottom of the hour, George Shea on the program. Yeah. I think the best hype man in the world.
Damn right.
Nathan's annual hot dog contest is tomorrow, and he'll join the program. And now we go across town, head out to the Progressive guest line as Jeff Sherman joins the program. He is the VP of Risk Management over at the Westgate. Jeff, good afternoon. Happy July 4th weekend. How are you today?
Thanks, you guys too. Doing great. Just trying to stay out of the rain out here.
We've been inside the casino for a while. Is it coming down again like cats and dogs?
Yeah, it's pretty hard today, pouring a bit.
Wow. Okay, let's start here. This week, correct me if I'm wrong on this, but July 1st over at your sports book was the day where customers could come in and sign up for your contest. The SuperContest, now $1,500, a $5,000 Survivor contest, and a contest that people have been yearning about for years here in town, or maybe even beyond, is a well-done college football contest. Now that we're on July 3rd, how has that been received so far?
Well, the college one's been received the best. We thought there'd be a few signups in the main SuperContest, which there were, but college, I guarantee, will have more college entries than we will SuperContest Classic entries this year, just because there's many pro contests around town. This one's pretty unique, and it's 7 selections rather than 5 like the NFL one is. And we do the entire college card of regular games, no extra games, anything like that, but the regular games starting Thursday night. So it'll be many games to choose from, a good selection there, and I think it's going to be very well received this season.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Get over there. $5,000 for the Survivor, $1,500 for the SuperContest. They upped that, $500, and then the college contest as well at $500 entry fee as well. Your reaction to what the Milwaukee Bucks did with the flurry of moves and the big stretch with Lillard, then to get Turner, I think it would hurt if I'm a member of that organization, considering the hoops I had to go through, the creativity I showed, and at one book they were still the 8th choice to win the East. One book tied for 6th. What'd you make of what Milwaukee did?
I was shocked. I didn't see that coming from anywhere.
Uh-huh.
And the method that they did it now, they basically have 5 years of a stretch contract. So the acquisition of Turner is costing them $50 million a year against the cap. That's a bit much to stomach if you think that's the move that is going to convince Giannis. It just sounds like desperation, and it's surprising. Now, I did go from 80 to 60 to 1. Just I like Miles Turner, and I think it's an upgrade from what they had, but not enough to be a large move to make him a contender in the East.
Okay. How about the Lillard perspective? At the end of the year, if he hooks on, assuming if he can play at the end of the year and come back, what if I put him on a Minnesota or somebody like that? Will it move the needle for you?
Well, I think personally that he ought to take this entire year to rehab, choose his place, take his time doing that, and come back the following season. He's not like Halliburton or he's in his 20s.
True.
He's up there. I think he's going to need some more recovery, and if I were him, I wouldn't rush it. You don't want to re-injure this thing. I think he might push for the end of the year, but I think he'd be benefited most by taking this year, rehab, assess the situation next summer, and then join on to a team.
Okay. And he gets all that money to rehab in Portland as well. He gets all the big payday from Milwaukee. How about the biggest movers in your book, what you did with the Houston Rockets? They get Finney-Smith, they get Durant. I don't know about the Capella move, but you had Houston the second choice to win the title. How high were you on the Rockets, and what are you at now?
Well, we're aggressive when we open these numbers at 14-1, expecting them to make some moves. And, the one thing that they lacked last year was a finisher, and they got that in Durant. So, when you started to see Durant on the list, Houston being one of the teams, I went to 12-1 and then made the adjustment down to where we sit at 8-1 after the collection of players that they have. And you have to like what they did, what Denver did. Oak City got taken to 7 games in 2 series, and those 2 teams really can give them a tough go next season.
So as the chaos is happening in the NBA offseason, and numbers are moving, bets are coming in. And you guys take a lot of sharp money over at the Westgate as well. Where did you see some respected money come either to win the East or the West next year?
Well, the main one that I saw was the Hawks at 60-1 for the East. That was as Porzingis was getting traded, and that was the first one we saw. Now they've settled down to 9-1 because they made some additional transactions on top of that. So. That's been one, and you've seen the largest move downward on the Atlanta Hawks. We've seen a little bit on Denver. You could have had them 16-1 on Monday. Now I've got them 8-1, the same as I do at Houston. So you had opportunities there, but most of the sharp bettors were on Atlanta.
Okay, and were you personally protecting against the 76ers or trying to have a lower number than other books because you think, and you like them potentially next year, you think there's an angle here where all these other teams, there's going to be a problem, but if they stay healthy, there's no reason why the Sixers can't come out of that conference?
Well, I do. I have the lowest price on them because I think it's, low risk, high reward with that team. And if, it all hinges upon Embiid. But with what Daryl Morey said, he expects him ready for training camp. And I understand he's going to miss some games throughout the year. I'm not saying to go out and bet him for MVP, but if they can get to the end of the season and he's healthy going into the playoffs, they have as much, if not more talent than any team in the East. And a healthy Sixer team can easily come out of the Eastern Conference. So I've already played them myself at 40-1 and then 12-1 for the East. And I'm dealing them lower than other books just because I think there's a lot of potential with them.
This is wild, right? From a bookmaking standpoint and a fan standpoint, but the unknowns in the pecking order because so many significant injuries. I mean, what do you do with the Boston Celtics? I mentioned this yesterday. Brian Windhorst thinks they could be in the play-in game.
Yeah, I keep bumping them up to see who will bite, and I'm up to 50-1 on them. And if I don't see anything, I'll just keep inching them up until I get something. Because right now, Jaylen Brown and Derek White isn't a team that looks like they're going to garner a lot of support. They're going to need to make some additional moves if they want to compete for this year, and I don't know how much room they have.
You were aggressive on the San Antonio Spurs, also maybe expecting a trade that didn't happen. Are you still there with the Spurs and think they could be a factor in the West?
No, I thought they could have went for Giannis or Durant, and since they didn't and haven't done it at this time, I bumped them up to 40-1 when I had them, 16-1 when I opened them up. But it looks like so far they've been standing pat. They've only got Luke Cornett as their only transaction, and it looks like they're going on this slow growth process with their draft picks, Castle from last year, not dealing in any of the young players or draft picks at this time. Now, that can obviously change. Things can change over the summer, and maybe behind the scenes they will go for Giannis. But right now, no one's looking to support him because they're a young team with teams above them in the West.
You're a Lakers guy. A couple of things here. One, did you like the addition yesterday of DeAndre Ayton? And number two, as we speak, reports are coming out that the Suns might buy out Bradley Beal. Would you want to see the Lakers pick him up?
Well, the Ayton signing, they had to.
Right.
There really wasn't much on the market. So, and you get him at a low cost, too. It was a surprise to everyone to see him bought out. He had an expensive contract, and there's no way that they could have gotten involved with a trade for or anything like that. So getting him at the cost they did definitely worth the gamble because there aren't too many alternatives out there for needing to fill a position. Bradley Beal, horrendous contract. If he's bought out and any team can get him on the cheap, he can be serviceable off the bench. I wouldn't look him as a starter that can be a high contributor, but I think any team would take him on off of a buyout, but definitely not in trading for that contract.
And you were aggressive moving the Vegas Golden Knights as you thought Marner or someone was coming to Vegas, and how low you got on Vegas to win the Cup.
Yeah, I mean, Ed was sitting at 10-1, and when he started hearing the Marner rumors, he went down to 8-1, and then once it happened, we settled at 7-1 as co-favorites with Florida. And you can't help but like that move, because that is the one thing that the Knights lacked in the playoffs, and we saw it in the Edmonton series, is that scoring punch. So we think that they're right up there with the talent that they have, and we don't think they're done making moves too, because obviously Pietrangelo won't be coming back on defense, but I think they have some things to fill there. So we anticipate a few more transactions from them too.
I heard you on with VSiN Primetime the other day. You had a great note about you're already offering NBA MVP for next year, and you were offering a massive number on Oklahoma City and Jalen Williams. What did a bettor want to do at 400-1?
Yeah, we had a request for $1,000 at 400-1 on the good Jalen Williams. So it's a little bit too much for our appetite to have that much liability. So, we went ahead and gave him less on the wager, and the individual bet him at 400 and 300. So we currently sit at 200-1 on him.
Where would you move him if another huge bet came in today?
I'd just go from 200 to 100 because we already have mounting liability on him, and that's as long odds. Those awards are not something that we look to have dictate how our month might go.
About a minute left here. Yeah. I know it's early. The Open Championship's next week. Have you fired on anybody yet?
No, I've been sitting on the sideline so far because, it is the Open Championship, and to me it's as wide open as can be. And I think I'm going to be waiting till the week of it. And I usually like to get involved in a lot of the European Tour players that, are used to playing those conditions, the ones that have been playing well. You can see like Martin Kuro. He's done well recently coming off a win. Guys like that where a lot of people haven't heard of them, but you might be able to find them in 300-400-1 range. So I'm going to wait till probably the week of it. I haven't done anything yet.
Very good. You can follow Jeff on X. He is at Golf Odds, VP of Risk Management over at the Westgate Superbook. Jeff, thanks for the time today. Have a great fourth.
All right, thanks. You guys too.
He was on the Progressive Guest Line. If you're just tuning in, he did say that he thinks the college contest is going to be bigger than the Super Contest this year.
That's something. Super Contest goes a long ways back.
I think
it also shows you the appetite for a big-time college contest.
There's a chance where the college contest could be absolutely massive,
Yeah.
MLB next, the single best hitting team against lefties over the last month, facing arguably the worst hitting team against lefties.
So you've got a business, but what about a brand? The difference? More of you. Wix gives you the freedom to create your website, own your brand, and do it on your own, exactly how you envisioned it. Experience limitless customization. Boost your creativity and efficiency with AI tools for every part of your business journey. Scale up with built-in SEO, e-com, and scheduling features. Put more of you in your business. Go to Wix.com and do it all yourself.
Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at endurancewarranty.com.
If you're driving a car or truck with an expired warranty and suddenly lost your transmission or needed a full engine repair, would a $4,000 repair bill leave you stranded? I'm Danica Patrick. Don't get caught off guard with a vehicle breakdown. Choose the company I trust. Endurance. No matter the mileage, if your vehicle is less than 20 years old, Endurance offers comprehensive auto protection plans for any budget. Protection on the drivetrain, electrical, transmission, AC, and more. Plus, benefits like 24/7 roadside assistance and rental car reimbursement on any plan. Endurance handles everything, from making the claim, through the repair process, to paying the certified mechanic of your choice. Don't get caught off guard with a vehicle breakdown. Act now and get 1 full year of elite benefits. A $2,000 value, free.
Visit EnduranceWarranty.com for your fast free quote today. That's EnduranceWarranty.com.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
That number was too high earlier today when we talked about the baseball card, which is what we're going to hit right now. When we brought this up, Pauly, earlier in the program, the Mets were as high as minus 180 here at Circa. That has dropped at least 30 cents now. And I'll give you some numbers why I think, here it's game day again, Circa. We talked to Mike Palm last week. They take a lot of overnight money on baseball, and then they'll take more money once the lineups come out. But Quintana's going against Peterson on the year. Quintana splits. He's on the road tonight. 1.31 road ERA on the year compared to 5.96 at home. The whip is 1.22 compared to 1.68. Peterson, also a lefty. Now, I went back and looked over the last month. Since June 1st, the Brewers versus lefties first in all of Major League Baseball in WRC Plus at 137. They are first in WOBA at 368. They are number one overall in batting average at 311. And they have the 6th lowest K rate in all of Major League Baseball. I'll flip it. The Mets obviously facing a lefty tonight as well. So we're going to have some lefty-on-lefty crime.
Mm-hmm.
Since June 1st, that same time, the Mets against lefties, dead last in baseball, 61 WRC+. Plus. Dead last in WOBA, 252. They have the 3rd worst batting average at 203. And they have tied for the 11th highest K rate at 23.7. Quintana has good numbers against this current Mets roster. 81 plate appearances, very small sample size. I understand that. 27% K rate, 216 batting average, 260 WOBA. You pointed this out earlier. I'll say it again. Rhys Hoskins against Peterson, 7 for 16, 2 dingers and 3 doubles overall.
Yep, and the Mets can't get a guy to go 6 in 14 straight games where a Mets starter hasn't gone 6 innings. So the concerns about the rotation, it's been so bad. And a good breakdown there. Yelich does have bad numbers against Peterson, but I think it's a good price with the Brewers as well to get the win and get a little revenge for what happened late last night as the Phenom was roughed up. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's runs in that game as well. And coming up, I think the Tigers should touch up Irvin, who's been bad. And with this offense, Riley Green and Baez and Torkelson and what they've done, Enge has been a journeyman, been all over the place in his 30s, but was okay his last time out.
Can I break that down for a second for you?
Yeah, sure, yeah.
So Enge is going, like you said, 5 innings against the A's last week, 1 hit, 4 Ks, no runs. That was the first time pitching in the big league since 2021. He pitched professionally in Asia for 3 years. I saw that he also had a stint. It was like he came up in 2017, I believe, didn't pitch again until 2021, and then didn't pitch again until his last start. It's the second longest day streak like between appearances in the history of the sport as a pitcher, which was absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
But only 1 start so far, and you're right. I mean, Irvin at home, much better, but he is very home run prone.
Yep.
19, I think, allowed so far on the year.
Yep. They could touch him up tonight as well, and I think that'll be the case. Really like the Braves game over. Braves, Angels. Again, Angels number 1 in ROI. Soriano against Elder. Total of 9, as we mentioned. Profar came back after the suspension and went deep. The run that Olson's on, 32 on base, 32 game on base streak, hitting .330, 27 ribbies during the run. But Elder last 3 starts 0-2 with an ERA of 15.
Yeah, and at home, by the way, on the full year, right? He's 6.61 to the ERA and a whip of 1.84. Horrible numbers for this guy.
Yeah. Soriano better on the road, but I got to think that there's runs in this one as well. And what do you want to do with Cleveland? They've lost 6 in a row. They've been outscored 37-12. Ramirez in an 0 for 17 funk. Cubs bullpen's been nasty. Allowed 1 run total in their last 9 games. And then the distraction. Was he supposed to go tonight or yesterday?
I thought it was tonight, but I could be wrong.
But yeah, the mess with Ortiz now, as he's being investigated and on leave after the shenanigans here with the report with ESPN and Ken Rosenthal as well, and others.
I will say this. So what's the approach here then? Because the Cubs are minus 130, but they're also throwing Horton tonight, who...
I'm okay with him.
8 starts on the year. ERA is almost 5.
Give me 5 solid. Penn's been great. I'll touch up Cleveland. Good offense.
Would you look at maybe the game over, 8.5, assuming the Guardians can get a couple off him, or maybe a Cubs team total 4.5 is plus money?
That's not bad. That's okay.
They've been one of the best offenses in baseball all year long.
All aboard with that. Yep. The big one, too, in Toronto as well. Again, I'm surprised that Toronto's a dog. Almost blew an 8-0 lead yesterday, but Bassett with Toronto and at home against the Yankees. At home against the Yankees as a Blue Jay. That's how I'll say it. 3-0 in 4 starts with a 0.33 ERA. 21-10 run for the Jays. They're in first place with a win. They're tied right now. It'd be the 3rd 4-game sweep over the Yankees in team history. Not much to like with the Yankees right now. And Schmidt, $1.30. I like Bassett and the Blue Jays to get the broom out today.
Like, what do we expect from Schmidt in this game? He's been solid on the year. He's better at home than he is on the road. but he does strike out almost 11 guys per 9 on the road. And I have to bring this up because Will Warren got absolutely demolished yesterday.
Yep.
Poor kid, they had to throw him out there for 4 innings, although he gave up 7 earned in the first. He had 4 Ks. So, Pauly, in terms of a player prop here with strikeouts, Clark Schmidt's number tonight is 4.5. Opposing pitchers going against Toronto when they play at the Sky Dome, they have struck out 4 batters or fewer in 16 straight starts. This team does not,
Incredible.
I mean, clearly they're elite at not striking out whatsoever, and the offense has kind of been on a mission here lately.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I know that the Ballpark Pal projections at vsin.com, I highly recommend you look at it every single day. Become a subscriber at vsin.com/subscribe. They have him going under 4.5 tonight. Remember, this was a thing a couple of weeks ago that we were talking about, and you were riding it out. I brought it up.
Yep.
Going against, these pitchers playing the under when they take on the Blue Jays, specifically when Toronto's at home.
Yep. Couple late games here. I'll focus on, there's 3 late games. I'll focus on the last 2. Mays, $3 against the White Sox. No surprise, they're 9-1 against Chicago the last 10. Another come-from-behind win. That's 34 come-from-behind wins for the Dodgers already, tying the record, the 96 Indians, at this point of the season. It could be runs in this game, too. Savale against, how about that? After how that ended with Milwaukee about being demoted, and then they sent you to Siberia. But I think the Dodgers can get the bats going here, and I don't trust May, although he's better at home than on the road. Total of 9. And Kansas City and Seattle, it was supposed to be Lugo against Wu. It's now Lugo against Evans. Lugo 2-0 with a 1-2-6 in June. But to me, there's props with a couple guys. Witt continues to rake and get it done, especially in road games. 2 for 2 last night. And Arozarena. Last night, 2 for 3 with a home run. 2 nights ago, 2 for 4 with a bomb. 2 for 4, 4 RBIs and 2 home runs. 2 for 5, 2 for 3. Keep riding Arozarena, as he's been on great the last week or so. And I'm a little surprised. I know Kansas City can't hit. 2 runs or fewer 41 times, but Evans is $1.25.
My whole handicap of this game was thrown off once the show started because I had all my numbers broken down for Brian Wu tonight. And no, he's not going to go, actually. Oh, terrific. Because that's the guy that you absolutely want to approach, and I'm totally okay playing unders with. But Evans also not bad. I don't mind that guy.
Okay.
I think he's pretty decent. Giants are playing at the Diamondbacks. Ray takes on Fott. Ray, again, pretty much doesn't matter what you look at, right? Road, home, overall in the season, very good. Almost 100 innings pitched. The ERA is 2.75. The FIP slightly higher at 3.33. More than 10 Ks per 9. Fott, I'll say this about the guy. It was not going well up until about 4 starts ago. He was having a miserable season. The last 4, though, he has pitched.
Sorry, weren't the numbers sort of fugazi because of the one start? Didn't he give up like 11 runs in one game? Wasn't that him?
That was.
He gave up 9 runs in an inning or something?
In 0 innings pitched.
Yeah, okay.
He never even got an out.
Yeah.
But he had more rough starts than that.
Okay.
Now, he's pitched. This is how he's kind of steadied the ship here. Last 4 starts, exactly 5 innings in every single one of them. The ERA, again, nothing to write home about, but it's 4.50. Almost 9.5 Ks per 9. And he's also been unlucky with the BABIP at 339. Typically, batting average of ball in play, the average across Major League Baseball is about 300. It was not great against the Giants when he took them on in San Francisco. That was in May during that rough stretch. And I looked at Diamondbacks against lefties because they are getting rayed tonight, but they're pretty much middle of the pack across the board. So I don't really like anything in this game other than maybe looking at the Giants. But that offense, man.
Yeah, I know.
Scares me.
Yep. Want to know where the money's really going? Unlike other sources, our splits come straight from Circa and DraftKings, giving you insight into where the sharp action's landing. Circa takes huge bets from pro bettors. And with DraftKings, you get the broader market perspective. You're getting the real action, not just the public money, but the kind of wagers that move lines. See the percentage of bets, first percentage you handle on every game across every major sport, helping you make smarter, more informed bets. Get VSiN's exclusive betting splits as little as $9.99 for your first month. VSiN.com/subscribe. The Marlins beat the Twins earlier today, and Colorado held on to beat Houston 7-6.
All right, so I went over that in-play total at 12.5 then. Rockies, feisty all of a sudden.
Come on.
Been that way for a minute.
That's job by Houston.
Here's what we're going to do. George Shea was supposed to join us in 5 minutes. hectic commute from what we gather. So he's going to come up in about 20 minutes. He is the MC of the annual Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest. So we'll move in-pocket plays up next. What we're betting here on Follow the Money. It's VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
To determine the winner of any given college basketball game.
Someone gives you 10,000 to 1 on anything. You take it. Take it. Take it.
I bet you $20 I can get you gambling before the end of the day. No way. I'll give you 3 to 1 odds. Nope. 5 to 1. Nope. 10 to 1. You're on.
All right, the information's great. All our baseball numbers, the props, and we told you Cease was crap on the road. Also, Padres struggling offensively. Easy win.
You could have stopped the sentence, that crap.
Phillies with the easy win, and Phillies get it done against Cease and the Friars. That's a winner. The pending.
Phillies are going to be pretty good in the playoffs, man.
Oh, yeah. That rotation.
Oh, boy.
Nuts. Morris, Coach of the Year. Bowles, Coach of the Year. 49ers 1 seed, 6-1. Lions under 10.5. Here's what I wrote in the guide. Obviously, both coordinators gone. Lions will play 11 of their 17 games against teams coming off a playoff spot, with 7 on the road. They play 3 first-place teams from last season, and going into the Sunday slate on the divisional round, 6 teams were left. The Lions play 5 of them on the road. Campbell is Coach of the Year if they go over. Love the Lions under 10.5 based on that brutal schedule, as we talked about earlier with Wes Reynolds, and there's also a lot of similarities with the Eagles, which I like the Eagles. You have to love the Eagles. A lot of talent, but that schedule as well, that's a big ask for the Eagles to go over their win total also. And we'll talk to George coming up.
Shea.
Little fun out there. Mickey Sudo over 44.5 hot dogs tomorrow. Get up and early to watch it tomorrow on ESPN, as she is 3-1 if she can break her own record. She ate 51, which is a record, and then 2 years ago was the fluke when she told us she was distracted and focused too much on that up-and-comer that was next to her, and why she had still won, and 10-time mustard belt champ. Ton of records, too. With 17 pounds of hot dish, I think she had, is a record. She's got plenty of records, but the cross-port stuff, the stuff you can bet with her and her husband, the stuff against Chestnut as well, a good time. But the 2 dominant athletes and 2 all-timers with Mickey and Chestnut in action tomorrow. Braves, Angels over 9. I think there's going to be runs here. Atlantic can get to Soriano, plus how bad Elder's been, and the great story. The Angels, the number 1 team in ROI in all of baseball. And it's moved, so I went money line. They opened 1.5, they're up to 4.5. I hate the spot for the Fever tonight. Win the Commissioner's Cup on the road, big-time celebration. No Caitlin Clark, and now they're taking on the Aces, who've had some bad performances, and I know Becky's probably going to tear into them as well. $1.90 Aces money line against the Fever on a good WNBA card. Good luck.
Good luck to you as well. The last time I bet against the Fever, it was an unbelievable spot for the Dallas Wings a week ago. They were down 33-13 in the first quarter. That hurt. Pending, Bucky Irving, Offensive Player of the Year in the NFL, 67-1. I know Paul Charchian loves the guy. I told him about numbers that were available, and his response was I'd take him at 40-1, which you can still find. And he also responded by saying that there's a path for Bucky Irving to get 2,000 yards combined this year, rushing and receiving. Remember, when he was on with us last month, he said basically when you look at advanced numbers and metrics, he's the best running back overall in football, meaning agility, separation, moves, cuts, all that kind of stuff. When you look at all of it, he came out as the highest rated running back in the entire league. Going into year 2, I expect the Buccaneers to have a super explosive offense. If they win 11-12 games, I think they might have multiple players up and in the mix for certain awards. I think he might be one of them. Love this Vikings team this year. There's not going to be much of a drop-off. They got better in the offseason. They're better at quarterback. Elite coaching, over 8.5. Circa took so much money on it that they had to move the regular win total to 9.5. Give me Minnesota all day long. Bet that 2 weeks ago, I believe. And I'm putting this same game parlay in pocket as well. Did this in the pizzeria. So I have to have Sinner win Wimbledon. That's easier said than done. He has Alcaraz in front of him. But I think it's a two-man race, as I talked about. When I made this bet, Nafisa Collier to win the WNBA MVP, she did not have a great game, neither did the Lynx on Tuesday night. However, she's like as high as $5 now to win the award. The Dodgers to win the NL. I just mentioned the Phillies. Some other teams will be an absolute nightmare for them. But parlayed with the Bills to get the 1 seed in the AFC. They have the clearest path, I think, in either of the leagues to get there. And Penn State to make the playoff, it pays plus 42.30. It might be in that same range now if you want to tail or something like that, or put together a cross-sport parlay. They might look something similar. But we get Sinner in. It's a good start.
Come on. Let's go. I love it. Good creativity. Get our guide, over 90 pages. The crew did a great job. Win totals, props, futures, MVP. I was not aware of that. I knew it was 17 of the last 18, but 27 of the last 28 MVPs have been quarterbacks. And the one outlier was the unbelievable year from Peterson. $175. Become part of the team through the Super Bowl. Offer expires at the end of the month. Get it now. vsin.com/subscribe. Team previews, division previews. It's awesome. And the best bets, player props, and projections. The fantasy stuff as well. $175 through the Super Bowl. vsin.com/subscribe. I like what you said a couple weeks ago about, check in on people. See how they're doing. You never know. Sabalenka, after she won the other day, advised Zverev to address his mental health before it destroys him. She pointed to herself as an example. The 3 seed at Wimbledon lost in 5 sets in the first round. He's had off-the-court issues. This is what he said afterwards. It's difficult to find joy outside the tennis court for me at the moment. I've been through a lot of difficulties in the media, a lot of difficulties in life generally. I've never felt this empty before. I lack joy in everything I do. It's not necessarily about tennis. I lack joy outside of tennis as well. I feel this is in front of everyone in the reporters after he lost. I'm very, very alone. For the first time, I'm thinking about therapy, and I need it.
Wow.
Sabalenka read that and heard it. She says he has to do it. I saw a therapist, and it helped me. And that was after he went out. Incredible stuff. I saw that today.
I'm going through this right now, actually. A friend of mine for more than 2 decades. He's been in a bad spot for 2 years, probably. I can't get a hold of him.
Oh, no.
I haven't talked to the guy in a year. Completely ghosted me. I have no idea.
Update? You don't have an update?
I don't even know if he's alive.
Okay.
I have no idea. No clue. I'm trying to check in, but it's going nowhere. And I think about it all the time. Dude, I'm going to have to track down his family somehow. I don't even know where to begin with that, but I don't. It sucks. I have no joy. Basically,
I've never seen comments like that from an athlete before.
There you go. That's
yeah. There's no joy in my life.
No joy in my life.
Yeah.
You can't find it in. Remember that Dennis Leary bit? His stand-up special 30 years ago. Joy comes with a chocolate chip cookie or a cigarette. If you can't find joy anywhere, yes, you need friends around you to help you out a little bit, or you need to talk to somebody for sure. Let me give you some more NFL MVP trends. 30 of the last 37 were on teams with Super Bowl odds of 30-1 or lower.
Okay.
The last 8 winners have been on a team with a preseason win total of 8.5 or higher, and 24 of the last 26.
Oh, that's strong.
A quarterback, like you said, 12 straight years. And since 1990, the MVP's team finished outside the top 10 in points per game only twice. Think about that for a second. Peyton Manning in 2008, Adrian Peterson in 2012. You need to have an elite, at least top 10 scoring offense in the entire league.
There's just no point to betting another position.
Oh, I've learned that,
Yeah, you've just seen these incredible seasons from Kupp and wide receivers and running back Barkley, and can't even sniff it. It's all about the quarterback. What do you expect out of Chestnut tomorrow? Wasn't allowed to participate last year with that contract, and that other company was involved and did the Kobayashi thing. $3 to break the record and eat 77. Mickey is $3 to break her record. and eat 52.
Well, did you look at recent trends, by the way, with where he was going in previous years?
Refresh my memory.
We are expecting to hear from George Shea. He's going to join the program. We think, we get it, commutes on the East Coast can be a little dicey. Reception might be just as bad, but we think we're going to talk to him in about 5 minutes. So 62 dogs in 2023? That was nearly canceled due to the thunderstorms, and he came out like Vince McMahon saying, "You're not canceling this event today." 63 dogs in 2022. So he hasn't touched 70 dogs since 2021.
Yeah. The props are phenomenal at DraftKings.
Oh, they're amazing.
He's 1,800 to win. Then you can bet without Chestnut.
That's so good.
And then you can bet him to eat 65, 70, 75, 80, 85. You can bet Joey combined with Mickey. You can bet Mickey with her husband, Nick. It's great stuff. Personal records, matchups. I'm blown away by the menu at DraftKings for the hot dog contest tomorrow.
All right, we'll expand on that. Even if the best hype man in the world, George Shea, we think he's going to join us. The MC, terrific job as the hype man with the annual Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest when VSiN and Follow the Money rolls along next.
Running a business can be exhausting. Building your website shouldn't be. With Wix, you can express your ideas, give direction, then leave the heavy lifting to AI. From site creation to branded content and images. Have fun with the details. Customize what you want the way you want. And manage your whole business from a centralized dashboard with expert AI tools. Build, scale, and enjoy the incredible results. You can do it all yourself on Wix.
Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at endurancewarranty.com.
If you're driving a car or truck with an expired warranty and suddenly lost your transmission or needed a full engine repair, would a $4,000 repair bill leave you stranded? I'm Danica Patrick. Don't get caught off guard with a vehicle breakdown. Choose the company I trust, Endurance. No matter the mileage, if your vehicle is less than 20 years old, Endurance offers comprehensive auto protection plans for any budget. Protection on the drivetrain, electrical, transmission, AC, and more. Plus, benefits like 24/7 roadside assistance and rental car reimbursement on any plan. Endurance handles everything, from making the claim, through the repair process, to paying the certified mechanic of your choice. Don't get caught off guard with a vehicle breakdown. Act now and get 1 full year of elite benefits. A $2,000 value, free.
Visit EnduranceWarranty.com for your fast free quote today. That's EnduranceWarranty.com.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Love this event every single year. How do you not get excited for it? Because we're seeing the greats, Pauly.
Damn right.
The true great athletes of our generation. And we head out here to the Progressive Guest Line to talk about the annual Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest tomorrow as the best hype man on earth. George Shea, Major League Eating, joins the program now. Sir, good afternoon. Thanks for the time. How are you?
I'm doing very well, and thank you for having me on.
You bet. Anytime. I want to get into Joey Chestnut to begin here. Like, can we expect yearly domination out of him again? Of course, was not in the contest last year. And you go back the previous 2 years, I have him eating 62 hot dogs in 2023 and 63 hot dogs in 2022, which was down from 76, the all-time record the previous year before that. So what is a realistic number you think that Joey can hit tomorrow?
Well, you know, it's very interesting. Both of those numbers are anomalies because in the earlier year when he did 62, there was a protester who literally came up during the contest, jumped onto the stage, and grabbed him. And you know, so then Joey and I had to fight off the protester, and so that became a big issue with him. Joey never dropped his dogs, but it slowed him down. So then on the other one, we had a massive rainstorm, washed out the contest. Hot dogs that had been cooked for the contest sat for an hour before they were eaten. So in both cases, you really can't look at that as his number. I think a more accurate number for him is 70 plus. I think Vegas odds right now have the over-under at 71. I think that's a little low, but you do never know. They may be looking at those 60s numbers and being misled because those are not indicative of, of his capacity.
Excellent breakdown. So you can make the case for over 71, and you think he can challenge his record of 76, and if the weather can play a role. Take us through with that, please.
Yeah, well, I think, look, this is just me just giving my speculation. I don't have any particular insight into this beyond, watching this all the time. But I think that because of the situation that we had last year with the contract dispute, him not being there, he wanted to be there. We wanted him there, right? This is what he does. This is the contest that he's known for. I think he wants to come back and make a dramatic statement. And so I don't think he's going to be happy if he pops back and does 69, 70, 71, 72.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to break the seeking to break the 76 number. But, there are many, many variables that can prevent that. When the hot dogs are cooked, right? There's a sort of little bit of variation there. And if they're cooked a little too early, it can really slow you down. So you cannot say, but I would be shocked if he ate fewer than 70 hot dogs.
Wow. 75 plus is plus 250, by the way, and 80 plus at DraftKings is 10-1.
Yeah, I can't, obviously as chair of Major League Eating, I can't be advocating a bet, but I just think anyone who's really watched this is not thinking of Joey in the 60s. They're really not.
Okay, very good. Yeah. George, I have 75 degrees with about 63% humidity tomorrow. Does that sound accurate? If so, where does that rank in terms of optimum, weather conditions?
If it was 75, it would be truly optimum, right? Because there's not a ton of humidity today, so I assume tomorrow will be similar. I had heard 85, but I haven't been following the weather simply because you get into this sort of weather obsession, and because it's an outdoor event, and you start it just becomes an anxiety pit. So I stay away from the weather, but I had heard 85 and sunny.
He's minus 2,000 favorite. Is there anyone that can challenge or come close to Joey in your mind?
So to me, there are a couple scenarios in which Patrick Bertoletti or James Webb could come close to him. And keep in mind that Patrick Bertoletti did 58 last year, and that is up above that sort of 50 number where you have a handful of guys, and Mickey Sudo as well at 51.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Patrick Bertoletti could up his numbers, and I think James Webb could be up in that range. What would have to happen, I think, is that Joey would have to have a stumble of some sort, right? And it is possible that he overamps himself and, I don't know, it just doesn't, goes too fast, gets out of rhythm, right? So the rhythm and his breathing, managing the hot dogs. So while one hand is putting 2 hot dogs into the mouth, the other hand is grabbing and dunking. It's a critical component to just get that number of hot dogs down, irrespective of the capacity. You just have to have this rhythm going. So if somehow he gets too amped up and gets out of rhythm, that could slow him down. Would it slow him down from 73, say, for sake of argument, to 63? No, it wouldn't. So Patrick would have to have a really good day, I think, to challenge him.
Nathan's Hot Dog Contest tomorrow. Watch it on ESPN. That's the take on the men. How about the ladies? Incredible job from Mickey last year. Set the record, 51. She's 44.5. Can Mickey break her own record?
I think she can, but I don't think it's easy. I think that she thinks 55 is a possibility. Once again, on all these things, I'm picking up little pieces here and there, but there's no enormous sort of specific analysis into this. But I will say this. I think the odds of someone beating Mickey are very low. It'd be very hard to call the number that she's going to eat, but she's not going. Once again, she is not going there to eat 49 hot dogs. So if all the circumstances are being equal, I think that she would be very close to her record, potentially breaking it. The problem is, as I said, it's not a disadvantage for one person against another, but if the hot dogs are, cooked, they have to cool, right? So you have to have all of these hot dogs out at the same time. They have to cool so they're not too hot. If the preparers prepare 10 minutes earlier, right, it actually has an effect. Certainly if you do 30 minutes earlier. This doesn't impact one versus the other, but it impacts the numbers. So all of those things are really impossible to predict.
Okay.
I'll just throw this out there for information purposes only, George. The combo between Joey and Mickey here to eat is 118.5 at DraftKings.
118. So my math is bad. That's 70.
Let's
and
say
50 is 130.
That'll get 70 and 50 will get the job done.
Oh, I got to tell you. I mean, I can't bet, but I got to tell you. I think I will say it this way to be a little cryptic. I think there's a very strong bet in that one.
Okay. How much time have you spent working on intros for tomorrow?
A lot, and I was just at rehearsal, but I do know them. But the issue for me is it's 10 minutes, 15 intros. I've memorized them. I have like little cue cards with a few keywords in case, you freeze or something or just get distracted. But I'm trying to do this thing with humor and language and intensity and drama, and you got to move quick. So, it's for me, that's my contest. When my contest is over, it's the 10-minute introductions. Then these guys have to do their work, right? So for me, when I'm done introducing Joey, it's kind of like, okay, I did my bit. Now they have to go work, though.
Mm-hmm. As co-founder of Major League Eating, the most impressive thing you've seen? Is it the dominance of Chestnut? Is it someone eating 50 Twinkies? And what has it been in all your years covering this and being a part of this most impressive thing you've seen?
So for me, watching Kobayashi break the record of 25 and 1/8 hot dogs with the number of 50 was shocking. But Joey beating Kobayashi was in 2007 was the most dramatic. For me, the most dramatic moment in any sports, and I was a big Knicks fan, so you're in Madison Square Garden, you're feeling that energy. But that was huge when Joey did that. He also broke his record and achieved 76 on the last bite on the last second in 2021, and that was extremely dramatic. But most sort of sticks in my mind. Bizarrely, I don't know why. Joey ate 144 hard-boiled eggs in 8 minutes, and Mickey ate 104. And somehow, to me, that just sticks in my mind.
Oh boy, that's nasty.
Well done.
What can you eat? By the way, what can you eat the most of in a short amount of time?
I have a horrible sweets addiction, and my brother Rich, who's my partner, brought a babka for a brunch we were having, and I just sat and I over the course of 30 minutes, ate an entire babka, which is in this case was a chocolate sweet cake. But I once tried hot dogs and buns against a reporter, and I'm embarrassed to say I only did 6. And I was trying. I was not trying. I was trying. He did 9. I did 6. And it's way harder than you think.
Well, that's why this is so impressive. Like the average person can't go out there and whack down more than 4, 5, 6, like you're talking about here.
Yeah, you always hear this from some guy, big guy. I eat almost a whole pizza on Friday night when we get it, and that's okay. That's fair enough. But then they get up there and they'll do 12 hot dogs, or they'll do 9. They're not popping up there and doing 25, 30 hot dogs.
Sure. George, that was tremendous. Best of luck with the event tomorrow. Thanks so much for the time here on the eve of it. We appreciate that.
I always like being on with you guys, and I went out to Vegas a couple years ago and opened the Circa, and I just have a great warm spot in my heart. So I wish you all the best 4th of July.
Back at you. There you go. George Shea tomorrow emceeing the annual Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest. Good luck with your bets tonight.
You set the gold standard for your business. Your website should do the same. Wix puts you at the helm so you can enjoy the creative freedom of designing your site just the way you want. Want someone to bounce your ideas off? Talk with AI to create a beautiful site together. Whatever your business, manage it from one place and tie it all together with a personalized domain name. Gear up for success with a brand that says you best. You can do it yourself on Wix.
For the ones who get it done, the most important part is the one you need now. And the best partner is the one who can deliver. That's why millions of maintenance and repair pros trust Grainger, because we have professional-grade supplies for every industry, even hard-to-find products. And we have same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders. But most importantly, we have an unwavering commitment to help keep you up and running. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.